money.
And it's interesting, just 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the budget. All right, it's 8:30. I'd like to call the meeting in order and welcome everyone to the Mud One monthly meeting. I'd like to start something different. I'd like us to do the Pledge of Allegiance for each one of our meetings. So if you'd stand and. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have anybody from the public that has any comments? Proceed on. Do we have any adjustments this month?
Or do I?
The consent agenda, is there any admissions, additions or comments?
To make a clarification on page 3, my issue about the lawn maintenance crews, those are mostly the people like Stuart that come in and maintain a lawn, not the people who are there to mow the lawns. And I think they're the ones that people like Stuart or Green Lawn are the ones who are telling people to water more frequently and longer. And they need to get with the program about our location schedule. If that could just be clarified. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept consent agenda?
Also moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving to the regular agenda, item number 8, review the district track fiscal year operating budget and recommended water structure. I think everybody got a copy of the insert, came with it. Comments? Discussion?
I think there's some typos in there on page 2. We are budgeting a residential sewer increase from $4.85 to $8.53. I think that should be $5.53.
Yeah.
And also, I'm pleased to see the interest on investments. We expect to get a rate of 2%.
Yeah.
They're about to raise the.
Wow. And the purchase services, that's a 30% increase. Do we know why we're getting, that's gone up so much?
We're collecting a little less revenue, and this is the Woodlands Water from projects from the districts. You know, there's a 10% add-on fee. It's paid to Woodlands Water. There are less projects budgeted for next year, so there's less revenue collected, and we have a little bit higher expenses as well. There's a combination. So
And I have another question on the budget too.
Before you leave that, that administrative fee, does that include salaries? Does that include insurance costs? And it's actually going up 30%.
not salary specifically, but as a combination. If we start with the MUD budget, so basically a zero budget, what do the MUDs need? What flows into the Woodlands water budget? And then there was basically a shortfall and have to raise just basically to balance the budget to a 30% increase in the admin. But it's everything not billed back directly to the districts. That goes into the admin.
One of the, well, two things. With the installation of the AMI meters, we've eliminated the meter readers. Where does that show up in the budget, that savings?
It's not in there as an expense.
Yeah, it's just removed.
Yeah, it's just.
So you've actually, there used to be an account that's.
Yeah.
Oh, and do you remember roughly approximately how much that was?
Close to $500,000 a year.
Is that right?
30 something a month for all in.
So we're talking $500,000 a year. That's for MUD 1.
No, sorry. The entire Woodlands.
Or what?
Right, yeah. It was a $400,000 or $500,000 contract. It was for month one, I don't know what it was.
I'm trying to expand it.
And the portion of the 30%.
Put a footnote into this document to at least have that in the record. It'd be appropriate.
Meter reading?
Have any meter reading this current year either, because Mud One was one of the early districts that was. So it's been removed.
Yeah, and the other thing with the AMI, it's supposed to be more accurate readings, meter readings. And we really can't make comparisons because of the difference in rainfall. But in the months of December, January, and February, there should have been an increase in recorded usage, because I think that's pretty consistent in Mud One from year to year, because we're built out and there's not much changes.
Yeah.
Is there any way we could actually look at that to see? Because one of the big claims of the AMI was we're going to get higher revenues due to more accurate readings.
Yeah, so what we could do maybe is provide an average before AMI, see what the average winter readings were and compare it to.
I would like to see that, because that
That
was
was too.
one of the big sales points of going to AMI.
Your meter reading expense was about 33,000 a year,
I guess 40.
and you didn't have any this year or the year before. It was about 3,000 in expense.
You know, also on the engineering and technical services, you have, that's a substantial increase there for mud projects. And what projects do we have in Mud One that raise it is that high?
We've got some sewer repair and some manhole rehabilitation in really the Panther Creek portion of Mud One, not the Grover's Point portion. And we can show you those. The contractor or the consultant is putting together the bid package now. We're hoping to bid it in maybe September or October and award a contract in October or November. That's what that
Is that what, so there's a specific project?
is. Yeah.
All right.
And maybe this isn't related to the budget, but I don't know when it's time to bring it up. But there was a letter in our packet where we sent out a notice to Paul Nelson about continuous water use and called it to his attention. And I think that's a great feature of the AMI. But I also observe in Mud One in my own neighborhood, people are totally disregarding the irrigation schedule. And so they're irrigating all times of the day and night. And is there any way that we could get the software, the Water Smart software folks, to develop a program that if somebody has excessive water use that's not normal, that's not consistent with the irrigation schedule, that we could automatically notify them. I mean, right now, Wayne Gassman drives around and he still puts out the door hangers. We could do a much more effective job with the software of detecting that.
I think they already do. I mean, I get notices when my sprinklers do run that on my phone. It tells me that you used so many gallons yesterday.
But it doesn't tell you whether or not you're out of compliance with the irrigation schedule.
Yeah, and we don't know because they could be out there with the hose hand water.
Yeah.
This
Really?
was discussed at the WWA meeting. But since hoses and not automatic sprinkler systems are exempt,
Right.
we can't tell.
okay? But now if you see someone, you can phone and they can ask the man to go out there, all right? They give them a door hanger or a fine, but I think we've all noticed that people are ignoring the requirement, particularly commercial, is noticeable because you go to the stores and you can see them watering.
And the common areas in the woodlands too.
No.
Well, you know, I
Well,
think,
I
I
think
think
we-
part of it is
Public
Communication.
education, the what?
and part of it's a communication issue that people just don't recognize that there is even a defined water schedule. I was at the Panther Creek Village Association meeting last week and I showed them the website. Yeah, we put it up on the screen and I went through the whole thing. And it was like deer in the headlights. I mean, you know, they said, oh, really? I didn't know that. You know, and yet you showed them all the information they could find, how much water they used and everything else, but
Well, and we
they
spent.
didn't even know anything about it.
We sent the refrigerator sticker to show people. And our public education committee is working on this, particularly to get people to know again that we have a schedule and there are fines that are going to be assessed.
Got the customer portal, which is very popular, so, but got a ways to go. Getting the most of it.
So do we have an idea of the number of hits per month that we're getting on that?
We have 30% registrations. People have actually actively gone in and registered, which is phenomenal. We're hoping to increase that next month. We'll do another mailer to those that have not registered. And another, an email as well, hopefully to increase that number. Every email address that we have on file, which is about 20,000, will get the notifications, but whether they go on and register, that's a different story.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we don't have to do anything with this right now. This is sort of a monthly.
Yeah, please review it. If you've got questions, email them to me or Maureen or Jim. We'll address them all at once, so all the board can get the same answer.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 9. We receive financial advisor's recommendation for tax rate. Good morning, how are you?
Letter in the packet, looks like this. I'll just remind you, this is tax rate season, so this is a 2-step process. So all you're doing today is authorizing publication of the total tax rate. Next month, you'll have your actual hearing, and then you'll adopt and levy the tax rate. So people might want some, you want to publish the highest rate you'll consider. You can always come down next month. You just can't go back up. You can't go up from that number unless you do so. I'll just run through the numbers really quickly. You just broke the $1 billion mark this year, so your certified is at 1.075 billion. There's still about 21.8 million of uncertified. So you're almost at 1.1 billion, which is an increase of about 15% from last year's 950.9 million. Last year, you levied 7 cents for maintenance and operations since you don't have any outstanding debt. If you look at the additional boxes that are included, after talking with staff and going through the budget, staff is recommending that you publish a 7 cent maintenance and operations tax rate this year. And in that box, in the top box, second line, your proposed 2022 M&O tax rate at 7 cents, assuming 99% collections, would generate about $760,512. You currently need on your current budget, or proposed budget, I should say, 4.5 cents to balance your budget. So that will give you a little bit of a surplus in the amount of $270,000. And what that means to your residents, if you look in the middle box, last year's average homestead was $378,518. This year's average homestead came in at $418,828. So that would be an average tax bill of $293 or $28 increase from last year.
It's a minor point, but you say last year's district value was 950,000 plus 972. And on the previous page on 13, it says 953. Got a typo or?
What are you looking at?
Well, in your letter, you say the last year district value was certified at 950, 972, 146.
Okay.
On the previous page, 13 in our packet, it's listed as 953, 419, 958.
Yeah, my guess is what, Jeannie, what you have, is that actual certified, or is that
For last year.
right?
Okay.
So the not include supplements?
Are you looking at it? I don't know what you're saying.
It's certified 2021.
Change your title to special spell checker. Any comments?
It's not
Discussion.
significant, but it is a difference. So.
Well, if you get a favorable ruling from the review board, you can go back 3 years and that might be it.
Yeah, the supplementals and stuff.
Yes, you can go back 3 years so that it's a moving target.
All the time.
And that was what she had on the day that she put it down. And there is a difference there, depending on what's happened with the appraisal review board.
So do you update this from certified for supplement, or do you leave it once it's
That's
certified?
the one that's certified, the certified, I think.
Yeah, so that's the difference. What Jeannie has on page 13 is the 953 is when the appraisal district first certified. What we have in the
We
letter,
compare from 1 year to the other.
right,
Yeah.
what we have in the letter takes into account all the supplements as they settle the accounts throughout the year.
Okay,
So
so
you lost about $3 million in taxable value.
It could be homestead, that could be, any type of exemption,
Right.
And it's really most obvious when commercial has a huge difference. For example, when Randall's closed their store, the personal property just fell away.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's millions of dollars.
thank you.
So if we publicize this particular number, when we vote on it, we can actually reduce it if we want to. We just can't go above it.
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing the surplus is because San Jacinto River Authority is looking at either bonding or getting a loan, and we're gonna have to participate in it. And the last two, we have bought out. In other words, we have bought out of the loan, so we don't have to pay the interest rate of a 20-year loan.
Which is increasing, obviously, Harley.
Well, that's
It'll
right.
be
Well,
much higher than it was.
And also looking down the road, we have this wastewater strategic plan. So we're talking another $400 million.
well, I don't think we're gonna be able to put away enough for that.
No, we're not. And what I don't know is that has SJRA been setting aside reserves to cover this? I don't
Well,
think
if
they have.
you'll notice in the last meeting, there was a question is, how much are we gonna have R&R and how much we're gonna have for bonds on it? And they're now discussing that because finance is part of this whole problem of, and it looks like at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're gonna replace in place at the Sawdust Road facility. They're not gonna go to a new facility. Now that looks like what's happening. That means
Yeah.
they gotta shut it down and they gotta build new. Then they gotta go back and destroy it.
Decommission.
Okay, do we have to have a motion to consider the adoption of the tax rate?
Need a motion to authorize publication in the, is it
It's
Courier?
in the Courier, but I do have a note here that we need to discuss this year, that possibly put it in the Villager. But they run once a week.
Good.
Okay, and it's 800, and it was over 850 something dollars last year for both papers, so it'd be,
Tim
$1,700.
Welby's told me yesterday that the Villager is being discontinued, but today we got it.
Oh, okay, and you really
It's the
gotta
largest
watch,
paper within circulation.
because we paid the Villager to put my wife's obituary in the Villager. And it didn't appear when we got the Wednesday Villager. And they said, well, we put it in the paid subscription Sunday, and they sent us 3 copies. So we had a big charge, and nobody knew in my wife's obituary unless they had the Houston Chronicle or the Coltville Progress in Virginia.
Yeah.
Can
I
we
think
send it
that-
out on email to the residents?
That's,
You have to send, and we don't have everybody's email address, and you have to send those out 10 days in advance.
Well, I think he's talking about supplemental, not in lieu of.
Oh, okay.
Because not everybody gets the Villager, and it's really, there's nothing in it to even,
So.
I don't think you could paper train a dog with the thing.
Yeah, so we have, from a legal perspective, you have to publish in a newspaper of general circulation, so we would still do the Conroe. We talked about in the Courier. We talked about last year as a supplemental publication, because some people in your community may just get the Villager and not the Courier, even though it meets the legal requirements of paying a little more to also put it in the Villager to get the word out more.
And,
Not required, but you can do it.
and doesn't the law specify countywide circulation?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. So that's why the Villager's not gonna comply, but the Courier will. Now, if y'all want to do additional voluntary notifications over and above what's legally required, I think legally we'll have the notice on our website for the meetings. We'll have that put on the district's website, each individual district website. But if you want to do an e-blast to your customers about the notice, you can do that. You're not legally required to, but if you'd like to do that, you could do that.
well, the Woodland,
Because the Villager, like on my street, not everybody gets it. They come down on the throat in 4 or 5 driveways, but then they'll miss 3 or 4.
They throw randomly in
Is that
our
what it is?
area, mostly to houses that are not occupied. But anyway, it's the oddest thing in the world, and I don't know anyone in my area that gets the Conroe Creek.
the Woodlands magazine goes to every house in the Woodlands. But you say it has to be countywide, even though Mud One is,
Newspaper of general circulation in the county.
Requirement law.
Let's meet the requirement of law, and then I think your idea is right to do a supplemental. That's going to get more people than any of this other stuff.
Yeah, we could buy an ad in the Villager for the Wednesday throwout or Impact,
yeah.
or give it to Impact and say, we'd like an article, and here it is for all the 10 muds. We could do that.
That one you'll have to check with, I have no idea.
No,
what the courier- with
Well,
the,
Just supplemental.
It wouldn't save us. We still got to put it in the Courier.
well, no, all I'm saying is I don't know what their cutoff is for articles, what the impact is.
Yeah,
It might
Impact
be-
usually have-
It's a month, almost a month. in
That's my
advance.
answer. Yeah, we'd still do the legal requirement. I just don't know what the impacts cutoff is for articles. Is the entirety else.
How about if you put a notice in the bills to go on?
Do that at the timing of the bill cycle.
Does that fit within a time frame?
So yes, so they would get them before the meeting. Do a stuffer, put a copy of the notice in as a stuffer. And tell everybody.
Make a motion then that we use the Courier and the Villager, and then supplement with email for the email address we have in Mud One, and then also the flyer in their bills.
So Courier, Villager plus a bill stuff.
And
emails.
And emails. All right, I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Sounds plenty.
Okay.
We're gonna publish my 7 cents.
Yes.
If we've agreed on the 7%.
Yes, we can reduce it, but we can't increase it.
Thank you.
All right, item 10, Sanderson River Authority update.
Good morning. We don't have any additional information outside of what you have in your packet. But if you have any questions on Happy to answer.
Yeah, can you explain page 22 on the drought plan? I didn't really understand that. Maybe I'm missing something.
That's for the entire 10 MUDs.
Talking about the drought, and they had asked compared to the last time we were in the drought, which was 2011, where do we graphically represent? So I pulled the numbers from 2011 and compared, it's our 2011 production numbers compared to our 2022 production numbers. Just so that way we can see where we stand in terms of production.
But at the blue says July 2011.
Right. That is probably an error because I had it on the wrong cell. So that should be all of 2011 beginning January. Compare
Okay,
January 2011 to January 2011 compared to 2022. And I will correct that. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Bell.
So it's FY 2011.
yeah.
Okay.
The only other variable I would point out on this, I'm looking at it, is population. So you're seeing just raw production, of course, the population, it hasn't grown a lot in the woodlands, but we have had some population growth over the last 11 years. So, that's something that you would just need to either keep in mind or have something, added on.
And back in 2011, that was all groundwater.
Correct. I'm just saying usage
Yeah.
per connection.
Yeah.
Throughout the woodlands, less people, less connection than we have now, marginally less, but that would reduce, it still would show, like for this month, we're roughly even on
Yeah.
production. You would still have a reduced usage by connection or by person, just because the population and the connection have increased from 11 to now.
And we have improved meters.
Yeah.
Which is making a difference.
So that is a good chart. That's very interesting. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, update on the wastewater strategic plan.
We have no updates on the strategic plan or infrastructure funding this month.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments?
The next meeting is September 28th.
Okay.
That's what it said. No.
We've been, I believe it's 28 summer for the next meeting.
So September 28th is our progress meeting with Reese and Nichols. The next stakeholder meeting is actually not until November 8th.
That's right.
There was talks about having possibly a meeting in the middle once the consultant comes back to see if we need to have a meeting before the November 8th meeting. But right now, the next time the stakeholders meet is set for November 8th.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of because we're going from July to November. And as a member of the stakeholder group, I would like to see it.
Interim meeting.
Yeah.
I'll let them know.
All right, item number 11, Steve, update on Spring Creek detention study. Nothing?
Thing to
I
talk.
don't think they met. Okay. All right, receive attorney's report.
No legal items discussed with the board today. Happy to answer
Wow.
questions if you have. Now, you need to have 1 month every once in a while. You don't have something legal going on.
Yeah, just take a break during the summer. Is that what it is?
You are just behaving.
Okay. General manager's report.
Just a quick update on Jim. He is at home doing physical therapy. They come 2 or 3 times a day. We saw him last Friday. He came to Bob's retirement party, Bob Daly retirement party. Gave a nice speech, still using the back brace and still not able to drive, but he is making progress. Won't be here this week to any of the mud meetings that we expect, but should be back with light duty here within the next couple of weeks.
Good.
Nothing really to add on the reports unless you've got questions of what's in the packet, really.
Does anybody have any questions on the general manager's report?
We're hoping to finish AMI by the end of the month. We've got 199 meters left. These are some of the bigger ones, so that they take a little longer. We've only got a 2-man crew here, so we're inching toward the finish line.
Have you had any feedback from the residents on the new meters or anything?
Just over the customer portal, just some of the comments we really like it. It's helped us a lot. Yeah, I got the alert. I found I had a sprinkler or a hose bib leaking. It's been very positive so far.
All right, item 14, trustees report. Hartley?
I have nothing to add. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I do have I did watch the video on YouTube. Are these live or are they just recorded? Just recorded. Is every one of the MUDs doing it or is it an option?
Metro and Mud 36 are not recording.
All right, item 15, I don't think, okay. So, see, all right. Discussion on any matters for future meetings?
Not, except those discussed already,
Budget.
budget and the tax rate.
Could we have a status report on the repayment from Taucus? There's a notice in the trustees report, and I just wondered, it seems like it's delayed, and that certainly is a cost to all the MUDs.
We've kind of hit pause on that because Jim's been out with his back surgery. Superintendent Randy broke his ankle in 2 places, so he's been off as well. He just came back yesterday with crutches and a scooter, so we're just getting that kicked off again. We've kind of just been on pause with that.
We can't charge any interest.
They've behaved themselves and haven't. And then what happened in the last 3 weeks?
I just got a mash unit here.
Yeah. So, all right.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Second,
All right.
we're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Well, didn't beat your record, but I was trying, but
And you're getting-
Brian.
Getting very close.
Really close.
So you tied my record, but we haven't beat yes yet.
And you said preparation and all that reproduction. When they pick packets like this, I don't know why you didn't say, just deliver me. You like to run off 99 pages.
Double, so it's like fans, it's been-
You don't get. Do you have a laser printer?
Yeah.
Well, that makes a
Well, I've
difference.
got- I have a couple